So,
I'm gonna ask you the same damn thing. People are always asking me.
Like,
What do you do?
yeah, today, folks, I'm gonna be doing my top 10 Christmas movies of all time, I guess.
'Tis the season to be merry.
well, that's my name.
Oh, shit.
Here we go. Coming in at number 10, Miracle on 34th Street. And the 1994 version stars Mara Wilson, Richard Attenborough, Elizabeth Perkins, who I've had a crush on ever since I saw her film debut in Big with Tom Hanks. Dylan McDermott. I know he was in Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood. This movie, it'll get you, man.
You are a very beautiful young lady.
It'll get you. It's got intelligent writing, very charming, but mostly it's all heart, man. Mara Wilson, who I guarantee you will steal your heart in Miracle on 34th Street. Great family fun, great family movie. It leaves you with a good feeling at the end of the movie, and I love those types of movies, especially at Christmas time. And Richard Attenborough, who, you know, he was whatchamajiggy dude from Jurassic Park. Anyways, he's in this, and he plays Santa Claus. Mara Wilson, like her mom, tells her there's no Santa Claus, and she was really young when she told her this, and she doesn't believe. And then Richard Attenborough actually is Santa Claus, and he's trying to prove in court somehow that he is. For some reason, you'll have to find out if you watch the movie. Anyways, moving on to number 9, Scrooged, with Bill Murray. Bill Murray makes this movie. It's a retelling of A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, but in modern times. And Bill Murray plays a real cold-hearted, like, snake.
Why do you keep calling me Dick?
He's a good modern-day Scrooge. And this movie, it adds comedy. It adds a little bit of, like, you know, spookiness. But it's got a lot of heart. And I guarantee you 100% at the end of Scrooge, there's a speech that Bill Murray makes. I'm starting to tear up just thinking about it, man. It's Alfre Woodard. Oh, my God. She's one of my favorite actresses of all time. She is like an acting god. Yeah, it's her son at the end of this movie that makes you freaking cry. Keep a box of Kleenex next to you for the end of this movie. And there's a part in the middle of this that almost makes you tear up too. Moving on to movie number 8, Klaus. Klaus is an animated feature that came out a couple of years ago. It's on Netflix right now. You can watch it over there. It was nominated for best animated feature. That's how good this movie is. It's not the Pixar animation where it's like, you know, so clean and crisp and clear. It's like puppet animation almost. No, but Klaus, it has its own kind of animation, and it's super fantastic. In fact, when I get done making this video, I'm gonna watch it on Netflix again. I love the story. I freaking love the animation. It's so well done. It's almost like modern day version of hand-drawn animation, which is and has the voice talents of Jason Schwartzman, he's been in a few movies. I remember him from Scott Pilgrim. Joan Cusack, J.K. Simmons. Isn't that Peter Parker? Peter Parker's J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies, right? And really good, enjoyable movie for the entire family. That's Klaus. It's on Netflix. If you get a chance, watch it. Number 7, I have Gremlins. Gremlins, man. Spielberg produced it. But anyways, it stars Zach Galligan. The only other thing I've seen him in was Waxwork, a horror movie that he did after this. After that, he like disappeared off the face of the earth. Phoebe Cates. The movie Amy Heckerling directed. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She was in that. Corey Feldman, before he became Corey Feldman. This is Corey Feldman before Lost Boys and before The Goonies. And Gremlins, it's about this father. He's wanting to get a gift for his kid for Christmas, a special gift that nobody else has. He's down in this back alley in Chinatown, and he finds this thing called a mogwai. This Chinese guy doesn't want to sell it to him because he will only sell it to people who are very responsible. Okay, because Mogwai takes a lot of responsibility. So his son meets the guy in the back alley and he sells it to him because him and his grandfather, Chinese grandfather, need the money. So he sells him the Mogwai, but he tells him there's rules that you have to obey. No light. They can't stand light, especially sunlight. Sunlight will kill them. No contact with water. They don't say why.
You cursed rat! Look what you've done! I'm melting!
The last rule, and he says this is the one you absolutely have to obey. Never feed them after midnight. But he doesn't tell them why. What'll happen?
Hello, I'm Fran Drescher.
Kill it! Kill it!
Yeah, and the Mogwai, these little Mogwai, they're the cutest pets thing, like, companions ever. I like them better than dogs. I wish I could have a Mogwai, but... And you know those rules that I just mentioned to you that they mention in the movie? Of course, as the audience, you know, we're gonna get to see what happens when you break each and every one of those rules. What happens and how the town and the dad and his son deal with the consequences. Great holiday movie. It's got a little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama, and a little bit of horror. I can't think of another movie that has all three of those. You know, so my number 6 movie, my 6th favorite movie in the world is It's a Wonderful Life. This movie, it's in black and white. I don't know if they colorized it yet, but I suggest watching it is in its original black and white version. It's an older movie. Stars Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed. Oh, if I was alive back then in the black and white film movie days, or I would have a huge crush on Donna Reed. Lionel Barrymore, one of the greatest villains of our time. But it's the story of George Bailey, who's played by Jimmy Stewart, and it's his whole life. And he gets to the point where there's a lot, and I hate to say it, but there's a lot of Americans, not just Americans, people all across the world. They're alone. Stuff has happened, and to where they're thinking about committing suicide.
Now, kids, here's a question, true or false. During the holiday season, the suicide rate increases significantly. Right? Well, you get back to me on that.
And that's what George Bailey thinks about doing. So Clarence is an angel that comes down from heaven and stops him.
I knew if I were drowning, you'd try to save me. You see, you did. And that's how I saved you. Very funny.
He tries to show George Bailey what the world would be like without him if he was never born.
You see, George, you really had a wonderful life. Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it away?
And this movie, fuck. See, I'm starting to get choky right now.
Could be worse. How? Could be raining.
This movie hits you like really hard, and at the end it'll make you feel really good. It really will. I highly recommend watching It's a Wonderful Life. No matter what, watch this movie during Christmas time. It'll make you feel a little bit better. So, you like that sound, huh? My number 5 favorite movie. It's a Christmas Story. It's directed by Bob Clark, who is a fabulous director. Yeah, it takes place way back in like the Leave It to Beaver days. And it's a great wholesome family movie about family life back in that year, that era. But yeah, it's about all the ups and downs and how families related to each other, how kids acted back in those days and what they got excited about. Christmas Story has comedy, very heartfelt moments.
No, I want an official red undercover knife to do it and get my leg rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
It's mostly a comedy and an enjoyable story. It's very entertaining. I think you should like it. Anyways, that's A Christmas Story. It's an all-time classic. Check it out if you can, if you get the chance.
Oh my God, it's the carolers from A Christmas Story.
Deck the house with boughs of holly.
My 4th favorite Christmas movie of all time, it's got to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Jingle All the Way. He plays a father, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jingle All the Way. He plays a father who is neglectant of his son. Neglectant? Is that a word? Neglectant. Okay. Of his son. And he waits till the last minute to buy his son the Christmas present that he wants. Like on Christmas Eve, and it's called Turbo Man. It's like the popular kids show in this movie. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, his character, gets caught up with work, forgets about taking care of his family.
You can't bench press your way out of this one.
So now it's a race against time for him to find this Turbo Man doll anywhere in the city. He'll go to any means, any lengths to do it. Sinbad, the comedian Sinbad, is in this. He plays an excellent role. He's like so good. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger's nemesis in trying to get this Turbo Man doll because he's trying to get one for his kid, and they compete, racing all across the city. Robert Conrad. Robert Conrad. I was so happy when I saw him in this. Robert Conrad was the biggest part of my childhood. I used to come home every day at 3 o'clock from school and immediately turn on, I forget, Channel 9, I think it was, and watch reruns of the Wild Wild West. He played Jim West in the Wild Wild West. He was like the TV version of James Bond, except back in the Western days. To see him like in his later years, it's still like, working as an actor, love it. And he's really good in this. And Jake Lloyd is plays Arnold Schwarzenegger's son who wants the Turbo Man. Arnold Schwarzenegger does a really good job. My third favorite Christmas movie of all time has got to be Christmas Vacation. Chevy Chase, man, Chevy Chase. Loved him in Caddyshack on Saturday Night Live, where he got his start. So Beverly D'Angelo, Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray's brother. He's been in tons of stuff. Randy Quaid, great funny character actor. He plays a good goofball. Anyways, Randy Quaid has one of the funniest scenes in this movie. Just everything that comes out of his mouth. When I was watching Christmas Vacation, I kept waiting for him to come back onto screen because I know he was going to say something so stupid it was going to be freaking hilarious.
You know that metal plate in my head?
How can I forget?
I had to have it replaced because every time Catherine revved up the microwave, I'd piss my pants and forget who I was for a half hour or so.
And it was like, I'm not going to spoil anything, man. It's just Randy Quaid as Clark's brother in this, Chevy Chase's brother in this. Unbelievably funny. There's a great scene with a squirrel in here.
Squirrel!
But anyways, at his job, he's counting on this Christmas bonus. He put a down payment on a pool for his backyard, a big like freaking pool, and so he said if he doesn't get his Christmas bonus, he's in the toilet. And he's got his brother and his family who are like broke coming over, and he's got like all the relatives, like the relatives from his wife's side and the relatives from his side coming over, and it's just all the fun and hijinks you can get into around Christmas time. Great family movie. I think John Hughes wrote it. I think he did. Yeah, and you'll see. Moving on to my top 2 Christmas movies of all time, number 2 and number 1. You guys want to take a guess? It's 2 movies. All right, you got it. It's Home Alone and Home Alone 2. So let's talk about my second favorite movie, Home Alone 2. No, let's talk about the number 1 favorite movie, Christmas movie of all time, Home Alone. Okay, Home Alone, classic Christmas movie. Young Kevin McAllister gets accidentally left at home during Christmas, and these 2 criminals in the area are scoping out houses of people that are going on vacation for Christmas, and they're planning to rob all the houses in that neighborhood. Well, Kevin McAllister is left home alone, and he has to defend his home. This little kid.
You know that the state of California has a home invasion law where it's actually legal to shoot someone just for entering your residence? And I mean perfectly legal. Did you know that?
And fend for himself, and he goes out grocery shopping, he does the laundry, washes dishes, he tries to shave without success, cooks for himself. Comedy ensues when these 2 criminals are trying to get into the house, because Kevin McAllister sets all these traps for them.
A dead kid.
And the movie stars Macaulay Culkin as young Kevin McAllister, Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as the 2 bungling idiot villains, Catherine O'Hara, she was in Beetlejuice and Sex and City Television, John Hurd, who's a great actor, and it was written and directed by Chris Columbus. I think it was produced by John Hughes. And this movie, it's got John Williams does the music too. It's really, really good movie. It's got a lot of heart, lots of comedy, and the drama is when the family realizes, especially the mom, she realizes she left one of her children at home alone. Yeah, but and the ending, it's one of those feel good endings. Okay, but you know, I always wondered what happened to Kevin McAllister, like in his later years. You know, like he a CEO at some company? Does he fly airplanes? Is he a cartoonist? Is he a comedian? Has he spent any time home alone again?
Mom? Dad? Hey, Google, what's on my calendar today?
You have one event called House to Yourself.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Google, add aftershave to my shopping list. Hey, Google, remind me to clean these sheets later.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Come to my number 2 Christmas movie, which is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. So anyways, the family, they're planning a trip to, like, Florida for Christmas. Who wants to go to Florida for Christmas, right? You want to go to New York City, right? It's all like lit up and stuff with a big old Christmas tree in Times Square. And okay, they don't leave him at home alone. He just gets on the wrong plane because they're running late. Power went off at night. The alarms didn't go off. And so the family, they woke up late and they had to rush to the airport. And so as they're running through the airport, Kevin gets on the wrong plane. And he ends up in New York City with his dad's credit card. Yeah, so he's in New York City and fends for himself again. This little kid fends for himself. He gets himself into the Grand Hotel, I think, over there or somewhere. I forgot what the name of the hotel is. He gets himself a room, orders room service. You get some new cast members in this one. The cast members from the original Home Alone, plus add into the mix Tim Curry. Tim Curry, you know him from Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I also know him from Legend, starring Tom Cruise. Tim Curry played the Darkness in that. He was super good. Yeah, so they're added to the cast. Plus, you get Rob Schneider from Saturday Night Live. Brenda Fricker, she's a great actress. She's also in this. She plays this homeless lady that Kevin McAllister, his character, befriends in Central Park in New York City. Also, one of the best cameos I've ever seen in a movie is in this. And it's by Ali Sheedy. Ali Sheedy has a cameo in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. You know Ali Sheedy from The Breakfast Club. And guess what? He comes across the criminals again that robbed him in the first movie. Except this time, he catches them. He overhears them. They're planning to rob this toy store. And so Kevin feels it's his duty to stop him because nobody messes with kids on Christmas. Once again, Kevin, he runs into his uncle's house and sets up some traps again for Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern to run into and get caught up in. That's it, guys. Those are my top 10 Christmas movies of all time. So anyways, guys, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Christmas, happy New Year. And once again, Merry Christmas.